Record.
Yeah. That should be
Yeah.
it.
Woo!
Woo!
Gotta have the backup recording just in case, because you never know these days.
Recording both ends.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Happy Amblin Waffle Press Retrospective, where we review and rewatch all the starring filmography of Adam Sandler. That's not a sentence. Let me try that again.
Hold on. Can I just point out how you said where we review? You said that like Nixon saying "sock it to me." Sock it to me.
We're going to talk about all the movies starring Adam Sandler and all the movies that Steven Spielberg directed. Plus some other stuff too. That's a normal human sentence.
We got movies.
I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me today is Matt Garingo.
That's me. Skibbity-doo.
We got a movie today too. It's not the follow-up to the hit film Bulletproof. You guys remember that movie? Of course you do. You listen to this podcast. No one else would remember that movie.
Yeah, the only way you know about Bulletproof is if you listen to the Happy Amblin podcast.
Yeah. And last week, if you're listening to this, you checked out the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What a great episode that was.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go on record and say it might be the best thing we've ever recorded. Miles ahead. I mean, frankly, we really peaked. It's only downhill from there. There's no way we will ever capture that magic ever again.
Yep. But we are not here to talk about one of the cinematic landmarks of the industry. We're here to talk about The Wedding Singer, starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
Fuck you. This movie's the landmark.
It is for a lot of people.
It is for Adam Sandler's career.
Also that. I think a lot of people are really kind to the 90s Adam Sandler. We brought this up before on the previous episodes. And I don't think his misses here are nearly as bad as some of the later stuff. And I wouldn't even call The Wedding Singer a miss. I think it's a genuinely sweet, kind film that is also an Adam Sandler film. So it's not entirely sweet and kind all the time.
It's a serviceable romantic comedy.
Yeah. And you know what? Every once in a while, it's just nice to have some comfort food. And that's what this is. This is cinematic comfort food. It's directed by Frank Coraci. It was released in 1998. And why Matt said it's a huge landmark for Adam Sandler's career is that the film cost $18 million to make, and it grossed over $123 million worldwide.
There you go.
Even by today's standards, that's a huge hit. That's good for them.
But this one also, I believe, opened Sandler to a wider audience. I mean, clearly by the box office, but I think this being a romantic comedy, it made him more appealing to women, I'm guessing. I don't think movies like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore are favorites among women, considering how women are portrayed in those films. Those are very bro-y movies, comparatively.
Cut to the Chris Farley clip from Billy Madison. Not a high mark there. And here, I would even say that the romance it's very movie romance, where I don't really buy it.
Oh, definitely.
But what I do buy is the chemistry between Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler.
Yeah, the chemistry, and what we find out here is that Adam Sandler can be a very sweet guy, which he has not been up to this point. He's been a man-child and a psychotic angry person.
And that, I think those had their value in a way to just being, entertaining.
Yeah.
Although you can't really out-anger Chris Farley,
Oh, yeah, that's a mistake when you're trying to be angry in a movie with Chris Farley in it.
Yeah. But no, yeah, there's a real tenderness here to him. And along with Bulletproof, I think if I was alongside Siskel and Ebert at the time of that film's release and this film's release, I would kind of be more open to Adam Sandler. Like now, obviously, I think we're both fans generally of the actor, but these would, I think, really open us up to like just what he's capable of too.
I think we're just starting. We're getting a glimpse that he's got more of a range than just angry yelling man.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he doesn't get angry or yell in this movie.
Oh yeah, because that definitely happens, and I think that might be one of the most like well-known moments of the film, the angry song. I don't remember what it's called.
Well, there's Somebody Kill Me Please.
There you go.
But there's also Love Stinks, where he just like crashes that wedding, which is another good moment. That's one where it's again. I think it shows a lot of range because that's a scene where he's angry, but like in a really quiet way, which is somehow more intense. I mean, that makes sense, but like he never really tried that up to this point. You know, he was always like either like at 0 or 11. So it's nice to see him try something different.
Oh. It's a little background on the plot. Adam Sandler plays Robbie Hart, a wedding singer in New Jersey in 1985. Oh my God, did this kickstart the 80s like Renaissance?
Oh my God, you know what? I honestly didn't catch that it was set in the 80s. I thought it was just a bunch of sad people in the 90s acting like it was the 80s.
No, that's people in Idaho in the 90s.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
But was this the one that like brought back the 80s originally?
I don't know. There's got to be other examples.
Yeah, but no one remembers them.
This one taps into the music at least. I mean, this is a movie that's very much leaning into like music of that era.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering why fucking Billy Idol was in this movie. Honestly, I totally missed that it was set in 1985. I honestly thought it was like, oh, these are people who are like obsessed with the 80s. And I'm like, Billy Idol has been relevant for about 10 years. What the fuck?
Well, there you go.
And wow, what an odd thing.
Yeah, because there's no fun with like the framework or the formula of any of that stuff. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, we like the 80s, so it's in the movie now.
Yeah, it's like, and honestly, I gotta give it credit, like, other than the music, it's very restrained in, like, you got people, like, dressing up, like, again, I totally, I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm like, of course, the one guy's dressed like he's in Miami Vice. The other guy thinks he's Michael Jackson. I mean, it's like, I totally just didn't pick up on it. And, yeah, wow, all right.
So Adam Sandler stars as the wedding singer Robbie Hart, like I was saying. Drew Barrymore co-stars as Julia Sullivan. And
she's a waitress, like kind of, she works weddings. Part of like a catering group, I think.
Yes.
I'm now questioning everything from the movie because now I'm like, I totally missed the 80s thing. She works for Robert Smigel. Robert Smigel is like the stuck-up chef guy. Do you remember him?
Yes.
So there he is.
There's a lot of fun cameos in this. There's a big one that not the Billy Idol one, oddly enough, although that's kind of fun in its own way.
Well, that's the one where the movie stops and is like, Billy Idol, like.
Yeah, this is the earlier versions of that.
Yeah, which will get worse as we go along.
Cut to Al Pacino.
Oh God, don't mind if I do. The Irishman.
But anyways, the cameo that I really like in this is the first appearance of Steve Buscemi.
Oh yes. He's a drunk.
He's an alcoholic who I believe has a very dark history with his brother.
He's a very, very sad person. And he gets up on stage and we laugh at how sad his life is.
But look, Steve Buscemi sells the hell out of it. He's a terrific actor. And you should also all watch Boardwalk Empire, which is also related to Martin Scorsese.
Can I just say, though, about Boardwalk Empire, because you brought it up, so fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
God damn, I could not make it out of the second season of that show.
No.
It got no. Honestly, I don't even want to say it got the subplot with Michael Shannon and that pregnant woman.
Mm-hmm.
That was so awful. I couldn't do it.
Oh.
Like, that made me more miserable than anything I've watched in a long time. Like, it was like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure the show's fine, but that was like it crossed a line for me.
Okay, I
where
can see that.
I don't even want to be like a moral thing. It's just like I was so. Like, you have that moment where you're watching some things and you're like, why am I here? And also it was a story, like, just that whole subplot, it was more for Michael Shannon's character than the woman who was being abused.
Mm-hmm.
Which definitely didn't help things.
If you ever go back to it, they play the long game with that character, and all the stuff pays off really well.
I'm sure it does. I couldn't, I couldn't do it after that.
All right, I get it.
It's honestly, it makes him like one of the most deplorable characters in television history.
Oh yeah, no, he's awful.
But like to a degree that like you don't know why you're here anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Like
a little Game of Thronesy, like later seasons.
A little, but Game of Thrones I don't think ever got. Game of Thrones just started having really dumb characters who were also awful.
Oh, well, you know.
You know. They didn't... I don't want to go on... I don't want to go on a limb here, but I think those Game of Thrones guys actually didn't understand what they were working with.
I don't know how much to blame them and how much to just blame them. I got nothing. Sorry.
All right, well...
Yeah. But Steve Buscemi's really funny in this.
Steve Buscemi should have been on Game of Thrones.
Oh, Steve Buscemi should just be in everything.
I could have seen him working at the Iron Bank. Tell me that wouldn't work.
You a Jon Snow?
Somehow he's got to get murdered and put in a wood chipper again. I don't know. Some horrible death.
He needs to play who the fuck played Pennywise? He needs to play Stellan Skarsgård's dad. Or Bill Skarsgård's dad.
Sure, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but anyways.
But Buscemi worked with Sandler on Airheads, I think we talked about, in the Billy Madison episode, and then of course he was in Billy Madison. So this is his third time working with Sandler.
And a relationship that continues to this very day.
For some inexplicable reason.
No idea.
Everyone just loves working with Sandler, from what I understand. And I'm sure the paychecks are nice.
Oh yeah, that too.
But not all these guys are in like big roles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like from what I understand, like the whole cast of Grown Ups like got like a fortune for doing that movie.
Oh.
Like more money than we'll ever see in our entire lives. But like if you're
the dream,
if you're doing the dream to make a fortune doing Grown Ups.
Yes.
I wonder how much Norm Macdonald got paid. Because he's in that movie, but they like cut all his scenes.
Aw. Well, you still get paid even if they cut him.
I guess, but it's like the funniest jokes. I don't know why they cut it. It's like a running gag of he's someone who they knew when they were kids, but like wasn't really their friend, but he keeps trying to pretend they were friends. And like he's trying to insert himself into things that are going on. But yeah, I guess they had to make room for, I think a deer pisses on someone in it.
Oh, it pisses on Adam Sandler.
There you go.
That was the trailer for Grown Ups 2.
Hey, oh my god.
That came out the same weekend as Pacific Rim.
Oh, and it beat it.
Yep.
There we go, America.
Not to take us into downer territory, but anyways, oh fuck, I had this whole thing. I lost it. It's over.
What'd you lose? We're talking about Show Me.
Fucking Norm Macdonald? No. The Skarsgård. Fuck.
Game of Thrones. Making money doing Grown Ups. The American Dream.
It was around the Grown Ups conversation.
The American Dream. The deer pissing on someone.
No, it's gone. If it comes back, I'll just blurt it out.
Salma Hayek is in Grown Ups too.
Oh my god, that's right.
Shaq is in Grown Ups too.
Really?
I think he's a cop.
You know what? I buy that,
I
actually.
think there's a scene where he like pulls a gun on him.
Oh no!
But then it's like it's like a fun joke.
Oh.
He's like, put your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care.
Police abusing authority is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember. Okay. Well, sometimes it's just nice to see. I'm just gonna jump right back.
Go ahead.
Sometimes it's just nice to see people having fun on a movie together. It's even better when it turns out that the movie's actually good. And so I think that lends credence to like Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler getting along so well together. They basically made a trilogy of movies together.
Yes.
It's this, 50 First Dates, and Blended, which I have not seen at this point.
Yeah, I've not seen Blended either.
All right, wouldn't that be great if that one was like Adam Sandler's hidden gem?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath, I'm just saying. But also something that was very nice to watch people have a good time together. So much so that they decided to make another movie together is Dolomite Is My Name, the Craig Brewer film that just hit Netflix with Eddie Murphy. It's a very good movie, and everyone loved working together so much they're all doing Coming to America 2 together.
Oh,
and I
wow.
don't know, it's just nice to see that.
Oh, so it's that group is doing Coming to America. All right.
Yeah. Like Wesley Snipes is going to be in Coming to America 2 because of Dolomite.
Holy shit, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's really exciting.
Will Eddie Murphy do the Jewish character again in Coming to America 2?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say no.
I don't know. I think Eddie Murphy feels like he's above the law. Because he did an Asian character in fucking Norbit.
Ooh.
And that was
I don't remember Norbit.
No one does.
Oh, no.
But, like, that's his big thing. Like, he plays multiple characters.
I just remember Hercules. Yeah. I think that's the line.
But that's got... I gotta say, I gotta... Either play the clip or cut this, because Coming to America has one of the funniest jokes ever. When he's the barber in it. He keeps claiming he's met famous people, right?
You know, sweet, I met Dr. Martin Luther King once. And you lying. You ain't never met Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah, I met Dr. Martin Luther King in 1962 in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm walking down the street, minding my own business, just walking on, feeling good. I walk around the corner, man woke up, hit me in my chest, right? I fall on the ground, right? And I look up, it's Dr. Martin Luther King. I said, Dr. King. He said, oops, I thought you were somebody else.
Like, why would Dr. King punch anyone? It's Martin Luther King. This whole thing was nonviolence.
Well, everyone has their breaking point.
Yep, I guess, but it was the wrong guy. There's so many layers to that one, it just kills me. And the other thing is that he's probably lying, and that was the best lie he could come up with, was that he got punched by Dr. Martin Luther King. That's a great movie.
Who directed that? That was Landis, right?
That was Landis, yeah.
Oh boy.
Fucking post Twilight Zone Landis.
Jesus.
Yeah. I had thought for years that he did all his big movies and then the Twilight Zone thing happened and then he never made a big movie again.
Nope.
And nope, it's like right in the middle. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. And I don't want to throw Eddie Murphy under the bus, so I'll cut this if it's not true. But I think he vouched for him initially to direct it, and then he like turned on him because he was like, "Oh, fuck this guy."
Well, you know, they had a weird working relationship because like Trading Places is probably like Eddie Murphy's like best performance like of that era. It's so good. He's so fucking funny in Trading Places, and that was him and Landis kind of got him his start in film. And then I guess they had like a lot of tension on Coming to America, which like depending on who you ask, like each person blames the other. Landis, the quote used to be online on the Wikipedia page where Landis said something like, Eddie Murphy on Trading Places was a dream. Eddie Murphy on Coming to America was the pig of the world.
Jesus.
And then there was a thing going around where Eddie Murphy said like, I threatened John Landis.
Oh, yeah. That one's making waves like every couple months. That's kind of nice to see.
Yeah, he's like, I threatened John Landis because he was fucking the movie up. And then they did Beverly Hills Cop 3 together.
Yeah.
which is like a low point for both of them. And according to Landis, and again, you never know, Landis said that he was ready to do it, and they had very good meetings. And then when they showed up to film, Eddie Murphy didn't want to make it a comedy. That Eddie Murphy wanted it to be a serious cop film.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like tension started. But yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, in the words of the great John Carpenter, Landis says a lot of things. That is an actual quote.
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Landis, I gotta be honest, like, Landis, I love a lot of his movies, including movies that aren't well regarded, like The Stupids.
Wow.
Which I think is a very underrated film.
Wow.
Have you seen The Stupids?
No, but I have seen the clip Max Landis shared when he was on Red Letter Media.
Oh, God. What clip did they show?
Yeah. Where like a bucket of paint gets dropped on his head, and then Max Landis goes like, "Oh, I get bukkakied in that movie." That was the joke.
Oh.
And they let that happen. Like I'm a fan, but Jesus.
Hey, well, they had him on. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But hey, they clearly aren't going to be having him on anytime soon.
Yeah, which is good.
If you want to see there's a scene in fucking The Stupids. I'm sorry. It's never fun to just recount comedy scenes. But, like, fucking Tom Arnold is disguising himself as a bush. Don't ask why.
Okay.
And he's like, all right, he's like, I have to feel like a bush. I have to start thinking like a bush. He's like nature, I know these things. And then he's like, wait a minute, I'm a bush with hands. And he starts going like, I'm a bush with legs. And so he starts walking around thinking he's part man, part bush. He lives in both worlds, but is a master of both. Again, The Stupids is one of those movies where it gets so stupid that it kind of comes around to being brilliant.
Okay.
They also go to a planetarium and mistake a janitor for God.
Wow. Wow.
And I think they mistake, I forget what the guy, God, I wish I could, like, I think, like, it's God, and it's like, no, my name's George, and then he's like, we've been pronouncing his name wrong this whole time. The Stupids is brilliant, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I guess I'll check it out.
But John Landis, in interviews, like, talks shit about, like, everyone. Like,
it's scary how similar his horrible flesh bag of a son is to him.
I know.
Like, they talk exactly the same. Like, you look at old interviews, there's this great roundtable with him, David Cronenberg, and John Carpenter for horror movies with Mick Garris, right? And the way, like, the mannerisms, like, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
I mean, we're all destined to incorporate some of the bad elements of our parents, unfortunately.
And then sometimes, if you're a Landis, you get bad elements of your own.
Yes. Like, yeah, I'm not going to hold all of it against him, but then he went and did his own shit, so...
Yeah.
So fuck him. I just don't get
Wedding Singer.
I just don't get the arrogance of a guy who made, like, Me, Him, Her.
I got nothing for that. That was, like... I'm amazed I sat through that whole thing.
I'm amazed I sat through 20 minutes of it.
Oh, yeah, no, it gets worse.
Oh, yes. I've been told.
See, because sexuality is fluid, that means the narrative has to be about a woman who has to realize that men are worthy of love, too.
Is that what the lesson ends up being?
Yeah. The revelation is that the Max Landis stand character helps her realize she's not just into women, she's actually into men, too.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Isn't that like Chasing Amy?
Yeah, but worse.
Like Chasing Amy has not aged well.
Yeah, no, it's oof.
The one thing everyone talks about Chasing Amy is that it has not aged well.
Well, like, if you look at it, Max Landis, his whole career is remaking movies under the title of other movies. Chronicle is low-budget Akira, and I like Chronicle a lot. Mm-hmm. But, you know, like, that is like the pitch, basically.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is just Akira.
His Frankenstein script, the original script before this can sound weird, I'm not defending him, I'm saying before it got butchered by the studio, like, it's got problems from page one, but, it became a different problem altogether by the end. It's a big budget remake of Reanimator.
That's the vibe I got that, like, it was supposed to be.
Yep.
What the motherfucking Reanimator is Frankenstein, so...
Yeah. So I don't get... Like, it's all there. You could see through the bullshit so easily. Unfortunately, I did not see it through it right away, so...
Oh my god, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about it. Yeah, you're right.
So that's the history of the Landis family.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how he is... I guess if you have a father who's got connections, that's all it takes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And... Unfortunately, he'll probably be doing like ghost rewrites for like the rest of his life, and we'll never know about it.
As long as he you can tell that he craves the spotlight. So as long as he's always in the shadows and can never be in the spotlight again, I'll take what I can.
Yeah. It's like he's in purgatory.
Yeah,
it's great.
Not bad. They should let Guillermo del Toro do a Frankenstein.
They should let him do whatever he wants. Is the problem?
Here's something I was thinking. Are there any horror epics? Because like Bram Stoker's Dracula is kind of an epic movie.
That's a good description of that.
But I couldn't think of any other horror epics because I feel like that's should be a bigger genre.
Give me an alien movie and I'll see what I could do.
Alien's close.
You could do it. Prometheus. I know this is not about the quality of the film. The story itself could play out like an epic.
That's what I think, yeah. Prometheus definitely had that potential and it just never reached it.
I said not talk about the quality.
I'm sorry. I'm just...
No, it's fine.
I'm agreeing with you. Because, I mean, part of my frustration with that movie is that, like, all the pieces are there and it just never works.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that really could have been... Especially when the sequel was before it turned into Covenant, because they realized they needed to get xenomorphs on the poster. When it was supposed to be called Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then they just truncated whatever the plot of Paradise was going to be into like a 15-minute flashback. And is that kind of, that could have been really interesting.
The designs for ththose monsters would have been really cool to see. I still want them to pull from that in the sequel. That will never happen, but
I don't know what needed to change, if it was the script or if it was the director. Because like something's not working in those movies for me. And I get
for
that
you, probably the director.
Maybe. I don't know. Because, like, Ridley Scott's made movies I like. Kingdom of Heaven, and that's it. But...
Well, The Counselor is the insane one.
Yeah, The Counselor, but that's like a schlock movie. But masquerading as a deep film about the drug crisis.
Well, it's about how everyone dies horribly.
It's about how everyone's complicit. No matter where you are on the scale of the drug war, it's just you're part of the problem. And it ends with a guy like talking into a phone for 10 minutes explaining poetry.
No, it ends with Cameron Diaz saying she's famished after sending a snuff film tape to Michael Fassbender.
Yep.
5 stars.
You can sell diamonds on Mars.
And I agree.
She says you can sell diamonds on Mars.
And then his follow-up film...
Yep, The Martian.
...was The Martian.
She also says the best line in that movie, truth has no temperature. God, I love that movie.
Oh, it's the best.
What a train wreck.
Oh, no, it's a genuine masterpiece.
Saw that with my grandfather.
Oh, how?
And then Cameron Diaz has sex with a car in it.
Yep.
Good times.
In context, you know what, though? It totally, plays.
Did you get how... I might have done this exact joke on this podcast, but...
Oh, probably.
Did you get how Javier Bardem, he talks about what women are like and how women should be treated and what you got to do with women, but never picked up on the fact that his girlfriend, wife, or whatever was the secret puppet master the whole time? Did you pick up on that? Did you get that?
Yes, you did do that.
Did you get it?
I don't know how we got here.
Anyway, The Wedding Singer does not have a scene where someone gets sent a snuff film. It does have Alan Covert.
Where even were we?
We didn't get out of the first wedding.
Adam Sandler, of course, playing another schlub means that another attractive woman who we believe is his girlfriend dumps him. But this time, he was almost going to get married to her.
Yeah, she leaves him at the altar. Yeah. When he's always wanted to get married. Like, everyone's talking about this. Has been his dream to get married. He loves weddings. He can't just be a wedding singer. He's a guy who loves the very idea of weddings.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's kind of like so clearly overwritten, you know?
It's so overwritten, but it's also interesting because considering how macho his other characters have been up to this point, now it's a character who's literally like, oh, I love weddings. Which, even in this day and age, if you're a guy who, like, admits that they look forward to their wedding, you know, you're gonna get looks from people.
Yeah, it's viewed as, like, softer, like...
Yeah. Effeminate, you're a weaker man, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And it's like, he could like going... I like going to weddings, doesn't mean I want to get married, you know? He could have had the same thing.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion on weddings at this point.
There's a lot of free alcohol.
Yeah, but I don't drink, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I guess I hate weddings because there's another place I go to where I go, no, I'm good. I'm not going to eat anything. And everyone's like, are you sure you don't want anything? And I'm like, yep, I can't eat it. I see these pills I brought with me? I can't eat the food. And they're like, are you sure we could get you something? And I was like, I can't eat it. And because no one ever just wants to say, oh, okay, bye. Like, are you sure? It's like, I'm fucking sure. God damn it.
I just found out you can't have grapefruit because it cancels out a lot of, like, antibiotics.
Yes, I had that problem for a while, but I'm not on any antibiotics anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
But anyways, not a terrible setup, just very overwritten, and also leads credence to the softer appeal of Adam Sandler, where finally more than just like dude bros who liked SNL liked him.
He still has the explosive anger. We see his explosive anger in the aftermath of being stood up at the wedding.
It still feels tamer, though, is the thing.
Definitely. Well, because it's not constant and he's not violent. He just yells in this one.
Yeah.
In fact, he gets beaten up in this movie. He doesn't beat anyone up.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, in Happy Gilmore, he does get beaten up, too.
Yeah, but he does assault people in that movie.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing, so maybe that one doesn't hold up as much.
Yeah. But doesn't he get hit by a car?
In Happy Madison?
In Happy Gilmore.
Gilmore. Fucking God. The titles. This podcast is going to break my brain.
I just remember that guy drove a car. That's actually a pretty fun... We didn't talk about that, but the guy driving onto the golf course just to run Adam Sandler over. God, these movies are ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. If anything, that's kind of my criticism for this one. Not ridiculous enough.
Yeah.
It teeters once in a while, but I mean, that's also just not the vibe they're going for either, so it's not really a criticism.
Yeah. Well, clearly whatever they went for worked.
Yeah. Again, it's honestly probably the best Adam Sandler film we've talked about so far.
Probably. I probably still like Billy Madison more just because that's such a strange movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this one, I think, in terms of competence and just heart and storytelling, like, this is pretty... But it's very straightforward. It's 90 minutes, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about it as long as the other episodes. That's just, like, a certainty at this point. Although
there's a lot... there's still some stuff to talk about here. We're just getting into it.
All right.
Because we got to mention... we got to mention Julia's also getting married. To Glenn. Yes.
Everyone's favorite character.
Glenn. And he's like this whole thing he's like been putting off like actually scheduling a date for the wedding, I believe. I think that's the big thing.
Are you telling me The Office ripped this off?
Hey now. Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
Man, I really cared
Steve
about...
Carell, you hack.
Well, he didn't write it.
No, I know. I'm just being an asshole.
Well, my favorite part of The Office was the Jim and Pam, will they, won't they?
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Jim always bugged me. Because I think if I worked with Jim, I would hate him.
Is that one of those that doesn't hold up for you?
No, The Office is actually, I've never been a giant fan of it, but I've been I've had happy memories of it.
Okay.
But it's also one where it's like, it's very, very cruel show. And I don't think it realizes that sometimes.
There's a certain point where it's just too cruel. Like the later seasons really kind of just veer into like, oh yeah, it's a TV show as opposed to like a fake documentary. Yeah, they do the documentary thing pretty impressively for a while.
And I think they really dropped the ball with the final season twist involving the documentary.
Yeah,
I thought
that was a huge disappointment.
Like, it was a really good idea that they just fucked up entirely.
Yeah, well, because they just framed it around the Jim and Pam thing again.
Yeah, that was the thing. And I think, Steve Carell leaving kind of fucked it up. Mm-hmm. And now Steve Carell has turned into like one of the most arrogant actors ever.
I haven't seen any interviews with him. Like, is it really that bad? Because I've seen his performances, and
you get the sense he takes himself very seriously.
Oh,
which is just odd. And I've always liked him, but it's just like, wait, where'd this come from? Maybe it's that thing of like he's really annoyed that everyone wants to talk about Michael Scott.
Yeah, like if they do that reboot or whatever, which they shouldn't do,
they're gonna
just don't touch it. I don't think he'd be coming back.
They're gonna reboot The Office?
There's always talks of like, you gotta do another season, you gotta bring it back, and it's like, you guys didn't like the last couple seasons. I was kind to the last couple seasons. I saw what was going around online. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a reason it ended. Things can end,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was, I bet you if that, whatever NBC streaming service, if it doesn't take off immediately, they're going to announce The Office is coming back.
No, here's what I think. They're going to announce it when they announce the streaming service, like, officially.
Maybe. That's not a bad idea either.
Yeah. And it still won't do well.
I'm hoping. I don't know, because it seems like Office fans are very, into The Office, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of sucks because I really love The Office, actually. Like, I'm a huge fan for the most part. But I'm also, like, tired of seeing every meme online be kind of, like, co-opted by Office memes, Yeah. It's like, it never stops. It's like, I like other things, too. There's other things out there, fellas.
Well, it's like Simpsons memes, too. Like, Simpsons kind of fall into that category as well.
Yeah.
There should be more Sopranos memes though.
You gotta still like kickstart that.
Yeah, I'm not funny, so need someone else to do it. Although I might actually start this because I some streaming service just put up a bunch of Courage the Cowardly Dog episodes. There's a show tailor made for one of those out of context like feeds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, holy shit.
For those that haven't seen Courage the Cowardly Dog,
great show.
Remedy that somehow.
It's very odd.
Oh, and horrifying.
From that era where, like,
scary shit.
Where Cartoon Network was just giving, like, shows to anyone. They got some of the weirdest shit ever.
Yeah.
And then they...
Speaking of weird shit.
And they inadvertently caused the Boston bomb scare.
Wait, what?
You don't know this?
No.
Alright, so, remember, so, like, Cartoon Network, they were the first network to start producing, like, original cartoons. Like, them and Nickelodeon. And then Cartoon Network started Adult Swim, right? Everyone knows this.
Mm-hmm.
So Aqua Teen Hunger Force was like a huge hit. So Aqua Teen Hunger Force got a movie, right?
Right.
And it was the first one. It was kind of going to be like when Beavis and Butthead got a movie and shit like that. So they were like, all right, we're gonna do a lot of viral marketing for it. And very, very hip marketing. One of the ones they did was that they showed the entire movie on Adult Swim, but in like a little box in the corner of the screen. So you couldn't tell what the fuck was happening. But there's characters on Aqua Teen Hunger. I believe they're called the Mooninites. Do you know anything about Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
No, I don't. I missed that train.
Yeah, I've seen some of it, but there's these characters called the Mooninites. They're like these weird, blocky guys. They look like neon lights. And they give the finger a lot. And so someone got this bright idea, let's do some viral marketing. We're going to put up a bunch of these boxes with like the blinking Mooninites on them. And we're going to put them around Boston. And we're going to put them in like very strategic places. And someone thought they were a bomb. And so like the whole city shut down, and there's all these videos, you can find them online, of like SWAT teams, like bomb units going up to the Mooninites.
Oh shit.
And the head of Cartoon Network resigned as a result. But yeah, that was a very interesting.
Just imagine, like, because you know, like Hanna-Barbera cartoons like reran on Cartoon Network for a long time, and so like people watching those are like, I wonder what the future's gonna be like back in the 50s and 60s, and then cut to just images of a SWAT team surrounding a box
with the Mooninites. And I swear, there's like photos of like the SWAT team with their guns like out, approaching the Mooninites.
Oh, I have to look this up.
And that's where I realized there was like a huge like cultural gap between me and my father, because my dad, because when that story broke, my dad was like, "Can you believe the amount of money that was wasted to do like, you know?" Because that's the story every time, like how much taxpayer money went to cleaning it up or whatever. And to me, I'm like, no, this is the greatest thing ever. It was, I couldn't think of anything funnier than, and it was like, this was like 2006. So, wow. I mean, that just to show you how long we were still afraid of 9/11. Hold on, I'm going to look this up real quick. I just want to see.
What are they called? Mooninites?
I believe they were called the Mooninites.
Let me see.
I see a picture of a SWAT guy holding a Mooninite. There's one, yeah, there's a police department getting one down. Oh, yeah, because they like, put them under bridges and shit.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, like, really, like, it was just, they put them just random places. I think there's, yeah, I don't know where they all, I just remember back then it was, like, this huge story.
I see it.
The Mooninites.
The Mooninite Panic.
Oh, that's actually called the Mooninite Panic.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, this is terrific.
Yeah, and the head of Cartoon Network resigned as a result of the Mooninite scare.
This is my favorite thing. I was considering taking this out of the episode, but no, this is it.
Nope, the Mooninites stay. And that was remember when Cartoon Network for like a year, they were like, now we're CN real. We're going to have live action TV shows. Remember that?
I kind of vaguely remember that.
Because that was because a new guy came in. And was like, we're going to change the whole game. And then he lasted like 2 years.
Oh.
And then they got Adventure Time, and then the network turned around.
Yay.
And then Nickelodeon's been in a dark age for I don't know how long.
Since they fucked up Korra's release.
I guess that's probably it. That was their chance to turn things around.
Mm-hmm. And they were like, nah, we're just going to bury it online. And had, like, the biggest fan base they've ever had. Like, that Avatar series could have kept them afloat if they did it right.
Yeah, probably. Although I gotta be honest, I don't want to, not to complain about it too much, because I get so sick of all these videos online that are like, what happened to Nickelodeon? Because it's like, the answer is always like, hey, you grew up. Like, that's what happened. Like, you're not...
Yeah, it's not for adults.
It's not for you, and you're not remembering that most of the shows you watched as a kid do not hold up. Yes, there were some really good ones, but most of them were not great.
In a way, I mean, we talked about it before. This isn't new information, but like that's totally what's happened with Star Wars.
Oh no, yeah, it's exactly what's happened. I mean, you can't love it the way you did as a child. Like, even if these movies were like unquestionable masterpieces, like even if like we had like even like if like one of these Star Wars films swept the Cannes Film Festival and was one of the highest grossing films of all time, like somehow could be both, like these fans would still be upset because you just can't love it the way you used to. It's impossible. You're not the kid anymore. You can't sit down and just have Star Wars be the one thing you care about in the world. And that's sad, but you got to grow up at some point. That's a little harsh, but...
And that's why we do this show specifically about Adam Sandler and Steven Spielberg.
Yes, I don't know what relevance this has to anything. We're talking about Glenn. Glenn's an asshole. He's a very mean person.
And he cheats on Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, you
which
can
should
see
be a crime.
You can see where all of this is going, like the moment anything gets introduced.
Yeah, no, not a riveting, like, unraveling narrative.
I would honestly like to see a version of a movie like this, because there's a lot of rom-coms with like these kinds of plots. Where it's like, oh, these two characters, like, they've been waiting to find that someone for a long time, but when they do, they're actually engaged to other people. Like, that's a very common, like, love, like, rom-com story. But I'd like to see someone play it completely straight. Because if you do what these characters do in this movie, you would ruin everyone's lives. This would be a very traumatic experience.
Yeah, because the current spouses are always just such assholes, you know? So it's, of course you root for the person to, like, make a comeback or whatever. And, like, I think there's nothing even, like, inherently wrong with that for, like, a romance movie. It's just, if you take the time to look at things a little more, I think you can get an even more interesting movie out of it, like, easily.
Yeah.
You know? At least compelling.
Well, I mean, that's kind of The Graduate, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, The Graduate's got that big ending where he comes in and stops the wedding, and it's, like, all triumphant, and then they're just on that fucking bus.
Yeah, and they're like, oh.
So maybe maybe, like, all the imitators just didn't get it.
Yeah.
That's a wild movie.
And they're like, oh, yeah, I love The Graduate. That's my favorite romantic comedy. It's like, oh.
You know, the Nostalgia Critic did a video called What's the Deal with the End of The Graduate?
I don't even want to ask. I'm going to.
I mean, it's basically just him going like, yeah, it's complicated.
It's like, yep, that is the point.
Yeah, hey, all right.
Did it take him half an hour to get to that conclusion?
I think it's like one of those, he did like a stretch where he would only do like 10-minute videos.
Oh, wow, that's still too long.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I don't know. There's a guy who I keep bringing up because he's terrible. It's my fault. I watched that Wall review, and it hasn't left my brain. If you want to talk about like it's just so inexplicably bad, like it goes beyond bad where like I can't even really criticize it like just on like the technical failings because all of his reviews are like that. It just gets to a point where it's like who thought this was a good idea? And what idea did they think they were going for?
None of it matters. And He's just a black pit of despair.
I guess you're right.
I usually am. People are still surprised by that, though.
Hey, well... I don't fucking know. Why is Empire Strikes Back trending?
I don't know. I'm scared.
I'm not gonna like this, am I?
I don't know.
They
We
probably
should look after the episode.
They probably fucked up the aspect ratio or something.
Oh, God! You know what? I was gonna look, and I'm like, no, I'm committed to the episode. Let's do this. Okay, let's see what else.
I don't know. I can't see. I can't tell why it's trending.
Well, that's good.
Sorry, I did actually click on it.
Damn it.
Well, aren't the versions new edits again?
They were gonna be re-edits for the 3D release.
Yeah, but they
back then. So yeah. They added and tweaked some stuff, and I think they're like they got the 4K resolution, but some of it's like the Blu-ray release, you know, where like the color timing's a little off and everything. And
yeah.
All that jazz.
Well, we always have the fans that will work for free to fix all this. Love
was it the despecialized
stinks.
edition?
What?
The despecialized edition or whatever?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I believe there's other versions, but I have the despecialized edition.
Mm.
From however many years ago I downloaded it. There's probably a better version out now, even.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, you can tell where this story's going. It's
much
pretty...
like this podcast.
But we should say that after getting left at the altar, and after he's devastated, he's depressed. He has a breakdown at a wedding where he talks about how certain people just aren't gonna get love in their life. And why can't his ex-girlfriend just be happy that he's just a wedding singer? That's the thing. She didn't want to just marry a guy who was a wedding singer. Which, while he does make a good point that this is something that they should have talked about yesterday, that's not a wrong complaint.
Yeah, like, what did she say? He makes like $60 per show.
Yeah,
something?
and he doesn't he live in his brother's basement?
His sister's basement.
His sister's basement.
Yeah, and like, that's a genuine cause for concern.
Yeah, like, look, we all go through rough patches, but we're also supposed to try and get out of them a little bit. And yeah, you know, usually, like, what your living situation isn't a testament to who you are as a human being. But, yeah, maybe show a little more initiative than just being a wedding singer.
Yeah, basically, if you're going to spend your life with someone, you got to work this stuff out. So, like, yeah, part of it is on her for not having the conversation sooner, but, like, it's way more on him for not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, no, I wouldn't say more. They should have talked about it.
There you go.
This isn't something that you just let slide until the last minute. The fact that it never came up is a little shocking.
Yeah, again, very, very writer like dialogue.
But this is, I mean, he is kind of, as much of a lovable character as he is a bit of an entitled person where he's like, hey, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Which he very much
is. The birth
of
the incels.
Yeah, I know. That term means something completely different these days. But I would say he's a genuinely nice person in this. It's very schmaltzy and pulls at the heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a good guy, but he doesn't understand why that in life you got to be more than just a good guy sometimes. Because I hate to break it to you, everyone listening, there's a lot of nice people out there. As much as you want to believe that you're the only nice person and that everyone else is a bunch of jerks, especially that girl you like's boyfriend, he's probably a very nice guy.
Yeah, I think everyone, like, assumes that there's a Glenn out there.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So, very, very romantic fantasy. You know, not a. This is not an authentic, true to life film. This is not Women Under the Influence.
No. It's not Cassavetes.
Oh my God! Imagine John Cassavetes directing an Adam Sandler movie.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Any day, just give it. It'd be great.
Well,
that's like
might be some roadblocks to that.
Yeah, well, that's like in the comic, the Sandman, Neil Gaiman's Sandman, when in the dream realm you can see all the unwritten books by all the great authors. Like, and you can see like all the stuff they wanted to write but never got around to. Like, that's my idea of if you die, you get to go to a movie palace where you get to see all the great unmade movies.
Oh, okay. That's the most I've ever learned about the Sandman comic.
Oh, you should read it. It's real good.
I started reading Stardust, actually.
Hey.
I like that one a lot.
Stardust is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and a fun movie. I know people don't like that movie. I thought that movie was fine.
I like it.
Have you seen the movie before the book?
Yeah, okay. I did.
No, not. I think I did the same thing, honestly. But no, Sandman's a very good comic. Although I don't know, everyone's got a fucking opinion on comics these days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe...
When you first said Sandman, I thought you were just saying like, like something for Adam Sandler related.
Oh yeah, the Sandman.
You call him the Sandman. Yeah, the Sandman. I thought that
oh
was
my
like
God.
For him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe Adam Sandler should play Dream in the Sandman adaptation.
Is that the main character?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was literally called Sandman.
No, it's weird. It was like DC.
Well, it's a Neil Gaiman comic.
Well, after Watchmen, DC it was like let's bring back all our obscure characters that we now own. And so they were doing like Black Orchid, but like you could do like they were literally like bring back a character, you can do whatever you want with them. And there have been like 2 previous versions of the Sandman. Like one was a guy with like a gas gun that like knocked people out. And the other was like a weird I'm trying to remember, I think Jack Kirby might have, I can't, someone wrote like a 70s version of Sandman. They both pop up in the Sandman comic, but then Neil Gaiman was like, I'm just going to take the title and do whatever the fuck I want.
Oh, that's great. There you go. That's the dream right there. Another one.
It's like, it really is very much its own thing, but like occasionally, like, I think the Martian Manhunter shows up like once. But it's in the DC universe, but very much barely touches it. So you don't need to know all that shit that I spent years of my life trying to learn, and now I regret.
Well, what did you learn from The Wedding Singer?
Well, I want to talk about just a little bit, because the other big setup is that now that Julia and Glenn are finally getting married, Robbie has quit being a wedding singer, which it upsets her because she wanted him to perform at her wedding. So instead, she's going to have him help her plan the wedding. So that's how they end up spending time with each other the whole time. And that's where that ends up leading to my favorite cameo in the film. John Lovitz as Jimmy Moore.
John Lovitz, of course, from his guest spots on New Girl.
John Lovitz, of course, from that time he was like really popular with the right wing because he called Obama an asshole.
Oh.
I don't know what John Lovitz's politics are.
He just called him an asshole. That's all.
I think he was. Yeah, it was like he was on Kevin Smith's podcast. Do you remember this? This was like a whole thing.
No, I don't.
When Kevin Smith, remember Kevin Smith became like a huge podcasting empire at some point. Like he had like 30 shows going at one point.
Yeah.
And he started doing live shows, and they started doing it out of the John Lovitz Comedy Club. And while Kevin Smith was there, he kind of struck up like a friendship with John Lovitz. He wanted John Lovitz to do his own show. So we did a few, where he interviewed Lovitz about his history on SNL. And he kept trying to talk Lovitz into doing, a show where Lovitz would just bring on old SNL people and they would talk. Because he thought that would be, a perfect idea for a podcast. Lovitz seemed to not understand what it was. Mm-hmm. And he on one of the ones he called Obama an asshole, I believe, and that got a lot of press.
Mm.
And then something happened where the owner of Lovitz fired the guy who co-owned the comedy club with him, and then tried to like impose a really fucked up deal on Kevin Smith for like how the tickets were going to be divided.
Mm.
And so then like him and Kevin Smith had like this big falling out.
Oh no.
It was like this huge thing. And a little weird because I mean that's the closest John Lovitz has been to relevant in a while.
Yeah.
And I actually like John
no.
Lovitz, but
Well, no. He also had a starring role in the hit film Southland Tales.
oh yeah, he's a cop that shows up and just shoots people. That's the cast of that movie's insane.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so pissed I missed an opportunity to watch the Cannes cut this
Oh
year.
shit. Oh, that would have been amazing.
They showed it in LA. A couple friends went and I was like, no.
Fucking Kevin Smith's in that too.
Yep.
As like an aged Iraq war vet.
Without legs, I believe.
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair. He explains time travel.
Naturally, of course.
With
that's a subplot in the movie.
With Zelda Rubinstein and Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah, and doesn't John Lovitz shoot Sherry O'Terry?
I believe so.
Oh my god, Southland Tales.
Yeah. The most, how do I even put this? It predicted Trump.
Yeah. In a weird way.
Yep.
And it very much called, it's probably one of the best Bush era films to actually be about the Bush era.
Oh yeah. It gets no credit because it's, Southland Tales.
Because it's kind of a fucking mess, but...
Oh yeah.
It's an infinitely fascinating film.
Yep.
And I would like to see a... That's where... I mean, I don't like Donnie Darko. But
I'm right there with you.
I kind of
love.
I kind of love Southland Tales, and it was built up to me as like a terrible film. So like for like a long time, I kind of just accepted that. But then I was like, I've watched Southland Tales more than a lot of prestige films.
The Southland Tales should have been a prestige film, but everyone's just a coward.
Yeah, I think that the real sad fallout of that is I think that because The Rock did that. That was like his one like time where he tried to team up with like an auteur director, and he's never really done that again. You know?
Yeah.
Because I wish The Rock was doing more stuff like that at this point in his career.
Yeah, it sucks because he's clearly a good actor, but now he's always got to play The Rock. He's got to be cool and stuff like that.
Well, now like his big stretch is that he's going to play Black Adam. Like that's going to be outside.
It's funny that it's a superhero movie and it's like, oh yeah, that one's the stretch.
Yeah, I know. Like it really isn't, but he's going to be kind of a bad guy. However the fuck that film turns out.
Yeah.
Are they going to do a Shazam?
Jean-Colette Serra's directing.
Are they going to do a Shazam too?
They keep saying they are, but I'm like, they haven't started, and the kids are getting older.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem with it. You got to do it like now.
Yeah.
Because even like they waited 2 years and those kids from It like aged to the point where they had to de-age all of them. Which wasn't distracting at all.
For all the shit I give that movie because it's a terrible movie, it didn't bug me.
Really?
I think I was just too annoyed by the rest of the movie for it to like register. All
right.
Yeah, but
it's
not a defense.
I didn't feel that way at all.
No one else does, apparently.
Yeah. I will say, I won't get into it, but I want to give Dr. Sleep a lot of credit for not doing any of that digital bullshit. They just recast people. Like, I was totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Although, I gotta say, thinking about it just now, it might have made sense when they got to the Overlook. Like, thematically, it would have made sense. You know what I'm saying?
Like the imperfections. It would have been a later thing where, like, the imperfections are, like, kind of necessary almost.
Yeah, like, I think it might have that actually might have been a good idea. I think the problem is, like, if you just did it with the Nicholson character, it would have been too creepy.
Then it would have been scary?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying scary. I'm just saying, like, it would have been, like, off-putting.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because that's, like, the one inventive thing they do once they get to the Overlook.
Aw, boo.
Although I was really hoping to see Lloyd the bartender.
It's kind of fun, though, because it's like, oh, the previous owner, quote-unquote, becomes the bartender.
Yeah. Well, it's like that like, the spirits are like an amalgam of, like, everyone that's been there. Like, they aren't even really human.
Yeah. It's kind of neat ideas in that movie.
A lot of neat ideas. Great middle. I really love the middle of that movie. But was really disappointed by the ending. Sorry, everyone. I mean, you do realize
the last bit.
It was just Stephen King's attempt to, like, rewrite Kubrick's The Shining.
Oh, completely. Yeah. But Flanagan's talented enough to kind of weave me through that.
Flanagan is his own voice. When he's trying to do Kubrick, it's fucked up. It's like what I loved about Dr. Sleep. I said I wasn't going to get into it, but fuck it.
Patreon, hello.
What I loved about Dr. Sleep was that it very quickly established that it was not a sequel to The Shining. That it's like, we're doing our own thing. And then it was like, it was easy for me to be like, all right, I don't have to think about it too much. And all, like, because the woman from the shower in the beginning, like, it didn't work at all for me.
Aww.
And it was more goofy than anything. It also seemed to forget that the woman in the shower doesn't start out as a diseased corpse woman. But they didn't want to try that, I guess.
Maybe it would have just been a little weirder because it's a little kid.
Yeah, but it's fucking... If you're going to torture a kid to death in your movie... I'm just saying. Yeah, that scene just didn't... That element, but once it was like, all right, it's its own thing, I can accept that. But then it was like, nope, we're going back to the Overlook. Which they actually do in the book, which is one of my least favorite parts of the book, because they just go to where the Overlook burned down. Because it burns down in the book, The Shining.
Well, now it's gone from both versions of The Shining.
I guess. Whatever. I didn't need that.
I'm a little mixed on things in the ending, but the final moments with
also
the kid,
I'm a little annoyed that both of the big Stephen King movies this year actually sometimes people do die for good reasons.
Oh, I hate that in it. Here, that's the thing I'm mixed on.
It's most, a little honestly. Better in Dr. Sleep. It's terrible in it.
I'm surprised that's not like a bigger point of contention.
I just think no one gives a shit.
Yeah, like I've seen so little dialogue around that because that's like awful. Well, because I think it's a horrible message.
But it's like I probably will sound like I'm complaining about Dr. Sleep more, but that's because I was actually invested in a lot of it.
Yeah, which I honestly did not expect from you. So yeah, that's cool to hear.
It really that whole middle really won me over, and I just didn't. And I like that it was actually very brutal and harsh.
Oh God, yeah. What is up with Jacob Tremblay in these R-rated movies?
I don't know. But I was just I thought it was ballsy that they actually did kill the girl's father.
Oh yeah, I didn't know because I haven't read the book, so I was shocked.
Yeah, I was just a little annoyed that it didn't. They should have done a little more with that if you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. Same with Jacob Tremblay getting tortured. I thought all that was going to come back in some way, and instead it was like, nope, Overlook.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were saying like they didn't go far enough with.
No, not.
Like, oh God.
I would have liked to have seen like a fallout with like his family, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like that should have been the closure of it, where it's like the little girl's like, "Hey, you know, we don't die. Like we don't like part of us lives on somewhere," and that should have been the closure instead of like I was talking to my ghost friend. Because then it just is. It's actually a very depressing ending because it's like, oh, the cycle repeats. It thinks it's a movie about breaking the cycle, but it's actually saying the cycle repeats.
Oh yeah, because she ends up just locking them away again.
Yeah,
which is yeah.
And she takes on the burden that he had.
we should go back to the movie, but do you think that's kind of like Flanagan sneaking in the Kubrick thing again?
No, because there's no Kubrick in it. I'm sorry, it's just Kubrick's... I don't want to be like, Kubrick's a genius. He's just different.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm talking about like the idea, at least, because his idea of the Overlook is different from King's, you know?
Yeah. Well, Kubrick also seems to think that the idea of an afterlife is actually a very horrible thing. Which is kind of what The Shining is about. And King doesn't see it as inherently bad. So, I don't know. I just don't think the two voices mesh well together.
Mm.
It was very fine when it was its own thing, just not together. And again, I'm not trying to be like Kubrick's a genius and Flanagan's an idiot. It's weird how much I like Mike Flanagan considering how many hang-ups I have with his movies. I actually really think he's a very good director. I just think that, I don't know, he needs something that I don't know what it is.
Adam Sandler.
Maybe. Adam Sandler horror movie would be interesting.
Anything else you want to talk about before we head to the finale?
No, I think we can go right to the finale.
Yeah.
There's like a stupid misunderstanding in the middle. There's
Glenn punches Adam Sandler.
Yes, Glenn punches him, and then like Linda comes back, and then Linda says like, "Oh, he's actually with me," and fucking. I guess we have to talk about Rappin' Granny.
Oh yeah. Wild out.
Recently passed away. A couple years ago, she lived to be 101.
Wow.
So,
life.
Good on you. And she got to live to do other films. Where I think she raps in it as well. I think she raps in Wedding Crashers, which is a movie.
Was that also directed by the Joker dude?
I think it might have been.
Jesus.
Remember when Bradley Cooper was like the third lead in like shitty comedies?
Yeah, and that's so funny because he's like such a like hardcore like movie guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always hate saying the word cinephile because it sounds like kind of pretentious, but like it's kind of what he is.
Well, now he's a director.
Yeah.
I mean, for an Academy Award nominated film.
Yeah. I really like Star is Born.
Yeah, it shows a lot of potential for where he could go if he keeps at it.
Yeah.
When is Affleck coming back to direct?
I don't know. WB fucked him so bad.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, because they rushed his gangster pick into production because they were like, we want you to do Batman next. And he was like, fine, I want to do this next. And they're like, all right, fine, do that like in the time span of like a year and a half. And then do Batman. He's like, fucking fine, whatever. That bombs. Doesn't work out for him. Then he's no Batman anymore. So, It might be a minute.
I feel like Live by Night is one of those movies where there's like a 3.5 hour version of the movie that's actually good.
I'd like that.
I wish I could get Ben Affleck on the phone and release the Affleck cut.
I was about to say.
But no, because it feels like one of those movies where it's like, you know, there's those movies where if they actually are better when they're longer. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what that movie felt like watching it. I could be wrong, but because there's so much going on in that fucking movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like Kingdom of Heaven. The theatrical cut's like fine, but like the full cut is like one of his best movies.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's an extended cut of The Wedding Singer.
I doubt it. There really shouldn't be. 90 minutes is perfect for this.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't overstay its welcome at all. The characters are in, they're out. You know what they're about immediately from the get-go. You know where they're headed. And I gotta be honest, when Adam Sandler starts performing on the plane, it's a pretty damn touching moment. It's so Hollywood, but it was very touching.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Billy Idol helps.
Oh yeah, Billy Idol helps defeat Glenn.
Because Adam Sandler tells his story on the plane, and it is so compelling to the other passengers, they all decide to help him. which that's just how much of a nice guy he is.
And it has the same problem as all these other early Adam Sandler movies, and as many other will follow, I'm sure, that, like, the setup is fine, and the whole movies are generally fine, or even good, borderline good, right? But it's like, you can get so much more out of it if you just show him, like, really struggle to, like, overcome any of his obstacles, you know?
Yeah.
Like, every scene is just kind of isolated. Like, this is a scene where he recoups from the failure. This is a scene where he fails. This is a scene where blah, 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 blah. And, like, it's all there.
Oh, yeah, so much is resolved so quickly that there's barely any conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing is that he quits being a wedding singer, and, like, that's resolved by the end of the film, and, like, that's only, like, an hour after he quits. So... yeah, it would be. Honestly, I think what we will learn getting into it is that when someone does take an Adam Sandler character seriously, you end up getting a very interesting film.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah.
And I wish someone had done that with him and Drew Barrymore, honestly, because I really like these two together. They have just this chemistry that can't be replicated by, like, other movie stars.
Yeah, I don't know what Sandler needs exactly, but like who he needs to be working with, like if it's the writing or if it's the directing, but or if he's just against it himself, if he's just comfortable making movies that don't get too complex. But yeah, I think he could make some really great movies if he just took them a little more seriously. But what you get, I mean, this is not a film where I'm like, I'm not fuck this movie. I would actually say if you're going to watch an Adam Sandler movie, check out The Wedding Singer. There's some good moments.
Yeah, it's probably the most reliable one, honestly.
Yeah,
just
it's definitely up there.
Yeah. So that's The Wedding Singer. Also, the next time we talk about
Adam
Sandler...
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's The Wedding Singer. And I got to talk about in the climax. What's the reveal in the climax? They get married, and Steve Buscemi is now their wedding singer.
I'm just gonna put the clip.
So now even he has a happy ending. Hooray!
Thank you for that.
I felt like that needed to be pointed out.
Yeah.
And we also didn't talk about Alexis Arquette, who's in this. As like the backup singer.
Okay. Do you want to highlight something?
I just think it's interesting because like we're kind of meant to laugh at Alexis, which is, you know, an issue, but we're also on her side. So I don't know. The shifting alliances Adam Sandler has with like outsider or marginalized characters. Because as we go on, we see him start to lose the kind of more outsider types that he hangs around with in favor of laughing at them. I just think I feel like pointing it out because it wasn't always that way. You know?
Yeah, I guess that's true. And Alexis Arquette, of course, is no longer with us, R.I.P.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's I like your theory. Did we talk about it before the episode or during the episode?
Just remind me, and I'll go into it again.
Okay. You had this theory that Adam Sandler's filmography might be kind of representative of like boomer ideology.
Yeah,
almost. Like
I think
where
I
they
mentioned
see
that
themselves
before the show. Yeah, I mean, this is I feel like this is a bit of a nostalgic movie for like the aging boomer, like the boomer kind of just hitting the adulthood and then midlife crisis. Because it has that weird, like, again, I didn't know it wasn't set in the 80s. But that makes so much sense because it has this weird foot in both the 90s and 80s. And it's this weird thing where he's like a scrappy guy who's just working hard to get what he wants. And as his career goes on, he starts kind of going from being the guy who's trying to work to get somewhere to now, and then he becomes the man, you know? Which I think boomers view themselves that way a lot. Although they try to reject the idea that they're the man. They still think they're the most oppressed class in the country.
Well, that's because everyone else got stuff handed to them.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Well, the baby boomers were never handed anything in their whole life.
Yeah, they worked hard for their health care, so no one else should have any.
Yep.
Who cares that America hosts like the largest portion of poverty to wealth? Shit.
Got a problem with poverty? Get a job.
Yeah.
I drove by a Burger King. I drove by a Burger King yesterday. They had a help wanted sign, but there was a homeless guy out front. He's just lazy. That's how it works.
Anyone can be a billionaire.
Anyone can. That's why we can't tax Bill Gates, because what if I end up having $100 billion?
I like that. Spend Bill Gates' money website.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty funny.
Because you can't spend all of it.
I know. I want people to understand, now that we've watched The Wedding Singer, I want people to understand that the billionaires aren't going to give up their money so easily. And we're going to have to fight. I want you to understand this, people. That's the one lesson I want you to take away from The Wedding Singer.
Go watch Parasite.
What are these? I'm interested to see what these fuckers finally do when none of their moderate nominees make it through.
They'll say Hillary was right about everything and that Bernie's also ruining everything.
No, but are they gonna line up behind Trump?
Oh. That's a scary thought. I don't know. I don't believe people are that stupid.
Bill Gates...
I for sure don't believe that.
Bill Gates straight up said that he would be open to supporting Trump.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about like the en masse.
Oh,
those individuals. Oh no, those people will definitely support Trump.
Yeah. But it's like... I don't know if there are enough... I guess what I'm saying is, like, will it make a difference if the billionaires line up behind Trump?
That's a scary thought. I don't know.
I mean, that's honestly where we're at, where it's like all these progressive ideas are very popular. We want a progressive candidate. The debate right now is how progressive, because it's between, you know, light progressive with Elizabeth Warren and heavy progressive with Bernie Sanders. And not to like get into who's the better choice. That's a whole other thing, but just that seems to be where we're at right now. And the billionaire class doesn't want either. So when one of them does get the nominee, will the ruling class be able to assert their power enough to not let them win, even though they're the popular candidates? Because that's what they're going to do.
Jesus.
I mean, are we under any illusion? Am I breaking like news here?
No. It's just a scary thought.
Yeah. Scary. What do you think? They're just going to be like, oh, we lost the election.
No, I don't.
I guess we got to just give up our billions. Suddenly every multi-billionaire is suddenly going to only have $10 million in their bank account after election day. Like, where'd that money go? And it's like, what money?
I'm not a billionaire.
And they're going to line up with some authoritarian, insane person. It was like, I will hide all your money.
No, you can't tax me. I only have $2 billion left.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I can't live off that.
I mean, it's still going to probably have to take a revolution of some kind. Not.
Thank you.
Not going to say violent. could just be a work stoppage across the country. But it's going to take that, frankly. And if you got to realize that at some point. And it doesn't matter who wins the election, because the fight's going to last much longer.
Thank you for continuing to use the podcast to incite nationwide revolution. I appreciate that.
I have no regrets.
No, I encourage it.
It would
keep
be
having you on.
It would be great if we like inspired some insane person out there.
Be very careful about what I say
because
it would be fucking horrible.
Because then they would
if we like
inspired by the rhetoric of the Waffle Press Movie Podcast.
Yeah, and they're like some Lee Harvey Oswald,
Dan Doherty
asshole
attack.
No, Dan is a good boy.
Yeah, but he's very young and very easy to manipulate.
No. Dan is the number one Waffle Press fan.
I've been sending him secret Waffle Press episodes under the guise of Patreon exclusives, and they're all telling him what to do.
This is the worst episode
ending
ever.
This is the best episode ending.
Not compared to our Close Encounters of the Third Kind, obviously.
Oh, no, that one, that's peak. That's,
Yeah.
I can't believe that we, like, actually caused world peace with the ending of that episode.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
I mean,
but for now...
Like, Trump just, like, said, I've learned from this podcast. Because we were able to send it directly to him. And that's why that's actually the reason why I'm doing this, because now that Trump has backed down and is actually going to throw himself in prison, I got to tell Dan Doherty to cancel Operation Mongoose. That's why I'm doing this ending.
Matt,
we don't need
where
it
can
anymore.
the people find you?
I'm at EmperorOTN at Twitter.com and an FBI watch list.
You can follow me on Twitter at the Diego Crespo. Check out the Waffle Press on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. Maybe not YouTube much longer, considering how things are changing over there. I guess I don't know. We'll see.
Great website. God bless America.
Don't forget to check out the Patreon. We'll always be on the audio stuff.
It's a good thing
easier.
Patreon isn't also about to collapse.
Yeah, who knows? Who can never be sure?
Oh, my cat's
Thanks
here.
For listening.
Otto, come on,
listening.
buddy. Oh, Otto, boy.
Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional.
Otto, my boy. Aw. Love you.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!